everybody, welcome to our downtown studios. This past Friday night, Montreal played host to the return of TKO. TKO 36 going down at the beautiful La Tohu. Robin and I were there calling all the action live, and I know we were very excited about the card going in, but how in the world could it deliver when you had it built up so much in your mind? And it did deliver. It gave all the fans watching, whether it be on UFC Fight Pass, Fight Network, or live in the venue, they really got to see what mixed martial arts was all about. I don't know if you call it grassroots mixed martial arts, because a lot of these guys have fought at the highest level and will probably fight at the highest level moving forward. But really, what a tremendous night of mixed martial arts.
But this is the highest level in Canada,
Yeah.
and it's one of the great organizations in the world, and one of the great organizations in the world ever. Let's be honest. We're honored to be a part of it, and we're shooting to have them all live here on Fight Network. They may not all get to be live, but that's the plan. And if you're watching us on YouTube or FightNetwork.com, yeah, you can see it over at our friends at UFC Fight Pass. But these are special. These are special, special nights. And Chris Horodecki was in the main event. That was incredibly special in its own right. We saw, his coach Sean Tompkins was one of the pioneers that helped. That Sam Stout, Mark Hominick, and Derek Gauthier, who is fighting a great Quebec athlete, one of the great Quebec athletes that were coming up in that era. And Chris fell to that double jabs, a really powerful straight right hand, a Tyron Woodley-esque blitz, and that happens, It's you see the emotion and you feel the nature of fighting. Chris has done that to many people in his own right. But it was tough to watch that happen to a guy who was so prepared, so mentally strong, so excited, so happy to be there, so appreciative of that opportunity, representing Sean and his team. And to see that, that is one of the great horrors of fighting, is that it is not fair. But it feels so great to win because it feels so great to lose. And Derek Gauthier executed beautifully, and he won.
Chris Horodecki at one time considered maybe the country's best prospect, and we saw a ton of great prospects on the card in Montreal. The Jourdain brothers, as well as TJ Laramie, and maybe you can call Lindsey Garbett a prospect, but really that's one of the highlights of the TKO organization. They understand the future of fighting. Even Xavier Aloui, who was in the co-main event, didn't come out with the victory, but looked sensational against the country's number 2 best 135-pound fighter in Josh Hill.
Yeah, it's true, and the action fights were just insane.
Dimitri Wardenberg and Malcolm Gordon, holy smokes.
Yeah, make sure you watch the replay here on Fight Network, and it really was absurd. That was just a wonderful little fight. One round of mayhem, and Dimitri figured out how to land that low kick, and you spent a lot of time at Nova União. Of course, that's something they're great at in Brazil. Malcolm, of course, comes from adrenaline, and they're great at that. So to be able to catch Malcolm moving into those and really put on a leg kick clinic like that was very impressive against someone of the elite talent of Malcolm. And then Jesse Ronson, that fight with Jimmy Spakuza. And, Malcolm, Jesse missed weight. Jesse's a friend, but that doesn't, we have to be unbiased, and we judge people who miss weight. We don't accept it. You shouldn't as fans. Other fighters shouldn't. There's never an excuse. That's okay. But the way you erase that is what Jesse did. He went in there and showed you the highest level of skill on the card, and excitement, and grit, and willingness. And when you do make a mistake, and it's always your fault, it doesn't matter what story you have. It's your fault as the fighter, and you can't let it happen again. But we will be talking about that fight for a long time, and we will forget that he missed weight. And that's the job of the athlete in that situation. And you don't always get to show what you intended to show, but Jimmy Spakuza, man, the heart of that guy showed, that made that fight special, was how tough he was too.
It really was a magical night in Montreal. Remember, the next show is scheduled to take place in January. TKO 37 coming up in the new year.